In Anathoth, a priestly seed, steeped in sacred lore and deed, traditions of the temple's might prepared him for the coming light. Alas, O Lord, I'm but a youth, my words unformed, my tongue uncouth. Yet fears were met with God's command, take my words and you shall stand. Do not fear, for I am near, your voice will carry, strong and clear. Go forth, my prophet, do not flee, for I am with you, guiding thee. In Josiah's reign, a fervent quest to cleanse the land, to bring the best. From idols torn and altars raised, the faithful worship to be praised. Reform your ways, the prophet cried, and in this land you shall abide. Turn back to God, your sins confess. Yet hearts were torn, a mixed refrain. Some sought the truth, some clung to gain. In shadows deep resistance grew, with idols old and faith untrue. Between the king and prophet's plea, the people's faith was hard to see. Reforms were made, but hearts unchanged, true worship lost, lives rearranged. For genuine faith to take its root, not just in deeds, but in the heart's pursuit. Outward change, a fleeting part, true reform must start in the heart. In fleeting days, Jehoahaz stood, 3 months of rule misunderstood. A kingdom's hope so swiftly dashed, in turmoil deep his reign was past. From Egypt's sands, Pharaoh's might, with Necho's hand dethroned by night. A puppet's fate in foreign grasp, Judah's throne in foreign clasp. With leaders changed, the land unsure, political waves, no ground secure. Instability, the realm's new norm, a storm of change, no guiding form. King Jehoiakim, in regal pride, against the prophet his defiance wide. With ears closed tight to truth's command, he spurned the warnings from God's hand. Because you've turned a deafened ear to Babylon, you'll cower in fear. Nebuchadnezzar, my servant bold, will come with force, as was foretold. Upon the scroll, the prophet's plea was cut and burned for none to see. A king's contempt, a fire's glow, rejection of what truth would show. Yet Jeremiah, undeterred, rewrote the words, again they stirred. With steadfast heart, his mission clear, to speak God's truth despite the fear. Zedekiah on the throne, a king uncertain, all alone. His rule beset by threats around, from Babylon descent profound. The Lord decrees the city's fate, to stay is death, to leave is grace. Surrender now your lives to save, avoid the sword, escape the grave. But heedless hearts the counsel spurned, Jerusalem's doom the tide had turned. Besieged and broken walls gave way, the temple burned in disarray. A king's weak hand, a prophet's plea, ignored by those who failed to see. Disaster loomed from choices made, Jerusalem's fall, the price was paid. Divine guidance, clear and true, is crucial when the threats accrue. In steadfast faith and strength abide, to avert disaster turn the tide. Jerusalem's walls breached and torn, a city lost in grief and scorn. The army fled, defeat was clear, the cost of sin so stark, so near. To Babylon the captives led, a desolate land where hope seemed dead. 70 years of foreign reign, a people's sorrow deep in pain. Jeremiah's words now proven true, God's warnings clear for all to view. His prophecies fulfilled at last showed disobedience's shadow cast. In ruined land the prophet stayed, his voice of hope in disarray. For even now in darkest night he preached of dawn, a future bright. In Judah's land, a fragile peace, Gedaliah's rule hopes to increase. With Babylon's watch he led the way to build anew from disarray. But shadows lurked in trust's disguise, assassins struck, Gedaliah dies. Chaos spread, the hope undone, a leader lost, a darkened sun. In fear and dread, the remnant fled, to Egypt's land by terror led. Ignoring prophet's clear decree, they chose their path unfaithfully. Leadership failed, violence bred, to Egypt's refuge the people sped. Ignoring warnings, truth's foresight, they walked in shadows, lost in flight. Transitions fraught with peril's seed require a trust in divine lead. For in disobedience chaos reigns, and peace is lost in endless pains. In fear and doubt they turned to flight, from Judah's land to Egypt's night. A step away from trust divine, in Egypt's shadow hearts entwine. In foreign land the prophet spoke, God's message clear their fears provoke. Babylon's king will find you here, his throne established far and near. Yet still they turned their ears away, in disobedience they'd stray. Jeremiah's truth they'd long ignored, rebellion deep against the Lord. In Egypt's sands the struggle stayed, between God's will and hearts that strayed. Jeremiah's voice firm and clear, against defiance year by year. To flee from God no peace will bring, for judgment follows, shadows cling. Trust divine in promise hold, or face the judgment prophets told.